Welcome to the 2014 paper test series. During this training, we will understand the procedures for paper-based testing on the 2014 series. We will go over creating students' account, creating a test event, editing an existing test event, receiving, administering, and returning a test event, score reports, and the certification. Benefits of the 2014 test. 4 subject areas. The test content will be divided into 4 subject tests: math, science, social studies, and reasoning through language arts. Scheduled test events. You will only purchase the test you schedule. There will be no need to estimate volume or manage a variety of forms. When you need a test, you can request it and it will be printed on demand and shipped to your site. Pre-populated batch cover sheets. When a test event is created, the student selected for testing will be automatically added to the batch cover sheet, which will be sent to you with the test and can be used for inventory review, test check-in, and the return packing list. Less storage required. Because tests will be shipped on demand in small batches and sent back when completed, you will no longer have to store large quantities of test booklets, answer sheets, or even shipping materials. Paper test administrator information. By now, you should have already received the welcome packets. If you haven't, please email our GED operations team at operations@ged.com. It should include a dry erase noteboards, RLA reference guides in English and Spanish, math reference guides in English and Spanish. You can also purchase more by emailing GED operations at operations@ged.com. In addition to the reference materials, you will need the following supplies: calculators, Texas Instruments TI-30XS, number 2 pencils, bubbling information card, which we will email you, and a secure box with lock and key. Certifying as a test administrator. A quiz link will be sent to you. New staff can contact the GED team at operations@ged.com to become certified. Please remember that you must be certified in order to proctor a paper test, and you will be required to certify as a test administrator once a year. How to create an account in GED Manager. You will log into GED Manager and hover over Manage Student and click on Create Student. Please remember that you should not create an account if the tester already has one. All fields should be filled in. Your jurisdiction, program, and email will be auto-filled. After entering your facility once, it will be added to the drop-down menu. Click on New Facility. You will need to enter the facility name, address, and phone number, and you only have to do this once. It is imperative that you answer all questions when you create the profile. If you do not, you will not be able to add the student to the testing event. Click on State-Specific Questions at the bottom of the page and click on Scheduling Questions. All questions need to be answered in order to schedule a test. You can click on the Save and Add New Student, Save and Exit, or Cancel. Making demographic changes. If you realize after the account is created that the tester's name or date of birth was entered incorrectly, send an email to the GED operations team at operations@ged.com. Be sure to include how the name or date of birth is currently listed on the tester's account and what it should be changed to. Please do not try to fix spelling of the name or date of birth on the test answer sheet. How to create a test event in GED Manager. Create your list of students. You will need the student's name, the student's GED ID number, tests needed for each student, as well as the language they will test in. Within GED Manager, hover over Manage Student, and select Manage Test Event. Click on Add New Test Event. Next, you will select the date, time, and location of the testing event. Please note that the date must be 14 days out from the current date. Prior dates will be grayed out. Once your date, time, and location are selected, click Save. You will have 7 days from the selected date to administer your exams. This is for your convenience, so the tests do not need to be given on the exact date and time you entered, but they can be. Once you click the Save button, you can either add students to roster or delete this test event by clicking the self-titled buttons. To choose students, click Add Students to Roster. You will be able to search for students by name, email, or GED ID number. To select the tests needed for the student, simply click on them. If a valid test is selected, you will receive a green confirmation box on the top right corner. Verify that the correct language is selected, English or Spanish. If a test is highlighted blue and has a check mark, that means you have selected that test for the tester whose name is listed on the left of your screen. Please note, you won't be able to add a subject to an event if the student is credentialed, if the student has the same subject in another test event, or doesn't have a score for that test yet, the student is in a jurisdiction that doesn't allow you to combine languages, the student does not meet the retake criteria, the student has an alert, or the student has requested an accommodation. If a test is selected that is not valid, you will receive an error message. Be sure to read these as they will tell you what the issue is. Once all students and tests have been selected, you can click the Save button or the Submit button. Saving will allow you to come back and change things at a later date. Submitting will start process for printing and sending tests to your test center. Submitting a test event. Once a test event is submitted, it cannot be changed. The test event must be at least 14 days away from the current date to be submitted. Test event must include at least one student. You will click on Submit and then you will confirm. Once submitted, students' tests are grayed out. You can also export the CSV file, and what you entered cannot be deleted or changed. You can also add notes to your test event. Troubleshooting. If you can't find a student, please make sure that they are in your selected program. If you can't select a test, check the message that you are receiving on the top right corner. Please remember that a credentialed student cannot be added to a test event. If you're still having issues, please email GED at operations@ged.com. How to edit an existing test event. From the homepage of GED Manager, you can view the Save Test Events under My Test Events section. In the Manage Test Events section, you can go to the status field and select In Progress. Receiving and administering a test event. After the test event is submitted, typically you will receive the shipment a day or two before the scheduled event. Once the shipment leaves our facility, you will receive an email with tracking information on the package that is on its way to you. It is recommended that you only submit an event when you are ready to administer it. Tests will be printed and shipped based on testing date selected. Receiving the event. What is in the package you will receive? You will receive the badge cover sheet, the test, the answer sheets, the prepaid return label, and a waterproof mailer. Each test event will be in a separate package. Please keep the box to resend the badge. Receiving the tests. When the tests are received, verify all tests are in the badge by reviewing the badge cover sheet and checking off each exam. Each test will have the student's name, GED ID, and there will be a unique ID at the bottom of each test and answer sheet. We have the reasoning through language arts, which is 2 hours and 17 minutes with a 10-minute break in between section. This exam includes 3 books and 3 answer sheets. The math exam is an hour and 50 minutes, and it includes 2 books and 2 answer sheets. The science exam is an hour and 28 minutes, and it includes 1 book and 1 answer sheet. And the social studies exam is an hour and 8 minutes, and it includes 1 book and 1 answer sheet. Keep the contents of the shipment in a secure location until ready to administer the test. Make sure to keep prepaid return label, waterproof mailer, and box in a safe and secure location. The prepaid label will not be replaced if it's lost, damaged, or stolen. If new one is needed, please email GEDTS with new tracking number. The badge cover sheet. So the badge cover sheet will be mailed with the test event, and you can add seat numbers. You should make a copy of the badge cover sheet for your record. The badge cover sheet is the roster for your testing event. This has all the students listed that will be testing along with what modules and the language they will be testing in. This is a close-up of the badge cover sheet. It will include the testing date, the event number, and the testing center ID. Each test booklet and answer sheet is in a separate line. Example, if John is taking the RLA and the math exam, John will be listed 10 times on the badge cover sheet because he will be receiving 3 booklets and 3 answer sheets for the RLA exam and 2 booklets and 2 answer sheets for the math exam. If the badge cover sheet is lost or damaged, a replacement can be emailed to you. The badge cover sheet must be returned with the badge. Administering the test event. During this section, we will go over admitting students, verifying students, and the directions for administering the test. Students must have an ID with the name and photo on it. The name must match exactly what is printed on the test. Prepare test sections and have supporting materials ready for distribution before students enter the room. Supporting materials include 1 clean whiteboard per student with dry erase marker, a calculator, and reference sheets. Seat the student prior to giving them the test materials. There is a column for seat assignments on the badge cover sheet. It is highly recommended that you use this sheet to keep track of where each student sits. Rules for administering the test. When seating students, verify the name on test and answer sheet is theirs. It is critical that the student receives answer sheet that goes with the test. Do not give student tests prior to seating them, and test the same subject at the same time only with proper distance. Students must be at least 5 feet from other students and no more than 10 students per test administrator. Student ID is required and must have the student's name and picture, and the students must use a number 2 pencil. The directions are different than the 2002 series test, and we will email you the script. These directions are for everyone. In order to make the testing experience the same for everyone, we ask that you read the directions as is. The following slides are the general directions for the GED test. You do not need to worry about memorizing these. We will provide a copy of the script. The script is very detailed in what to say, or if you need to allow time for the candidate to do anything. Here we have the example of the math script. So the math exam has 2 parts, and they must be administered on the same day. The time allowed for the entire mathematical reasoning exam is 1 hour and 50 minutes to complete all questions for both parts 1 and 2. Once testers begin part 2, they will not be able to return to part 1. And testers are only allowed to use a Texas Instruments TI-30XS calculator. The Reasoning Through Language Arts script. The Reasoning Through Language Arts has 3 parts to it, and they must be administered on the same day and must never be administered at separate times. Each part is a separate booklet that is handed to the test taker and collected at the conclusion of each part of the test. The total time for the RLA test is 2 hours and 17 minutes with a 10-minute break. The following slides are the scripts for each subject. Once you receive the script, we recommend you look over it and familiarize yourself with the instructions for the students. Here we have an example of the science test script. We also included the social studies script. Cheating and/or misconduct. If a student is caught cheating, it is imperative that you email the GED team immediately at operations@ged.com. Loss, damage, test, and/or answer sheets. Please notify the GED team immediately by emailing gedoperations@ged.com. If a student can't test due to lockdown, release, or they are sick, test them on another day within the 7-day testing window. And please return unused tests. List on the batch cover sheet why they did not complete tests under the notes section. Completing testings. Upon completion of the test event, you will send the test booklets, answer sheets, and marked up batch cover sheet to GED scanning using the prepaid printed label. Tests must be postmarked within 7 days of testing date. After the 21-day mark of not receiving tests, an investigation will be open. Returning the test event. Returning the test event. After all tests and batch have been administered, prepare the batch for scoring. Verify all tests and answer sheets are within the batch. Each batch should be returned separately with only the tests listed on the batch cover sheet. No longer need to send demo sheets, address changes, and please put the test in the waterproof mailer. Put return label on box. Missing test. If a student test is missing, it will be marked as missing in the student test activity report of GED Manager. If a test is found after you mail the badge to us, return it as soon as possible for scoring. If a test is damaged, return it with the badge. If it is damaged beyond recognition, the student will need to retest. The test will be reviewed once received at GED scanning. If we do not receive your badge after 21 days, we will contact you. When the badge is received by GED scanning, it will be processed within 3 to 5 business days. Please write down your tracking number so you have the ability to track the badge. If you return your badge and you do not see scores in GED Manager after 5 business days of it arriving at our scanning facility, please email GED Operations at operations@ged.com. Enhanced Score Report. The Enhanced Score Report from GED Testing Service provides targeted feedback for each test taker so they know their strengths, what skills to develop, and how to score higher on the retest. Benefits of the Enhanced Score Report. It identifies the specific skills the test taker missed on the test. It provides test takers a personalized study plan and the specific pages or chapters they need to study to score higher. Features of the Enhanced Score Report. We have a couple features for our Enhanced Score Reports. It tells you how the student can score higher, what the score means, and it also reviews their written responses. To view the Enhanced Score Reports, go to the Student Search section of GED Manager and look up the student. Once you are on the student detail page, for that student, scroll down to the results section to view their test results. You can view the score report for each test taken, including the GED Ready. To do so, you can click on the subject or score to see their score report. When you access the Enhanced Score Report, you will be able to personalize a study plan by selecting the study material in the first step, and the second step you will provide with the specific pages or chapters the student will need to study to obtain a higher score. This is an example of selecting the study material and the personalized study plan. As you can see, we selected the study material, and now on here, it's telling us which pages the student can study to improve their scores. Please note that you have the option to print the score report. To do so, you will click on the Print Score Report button. GED Ready Benefits tells the student if they are likely to pass. The GED Ready practice test has the same look and feel as a real GED test and gives students firsthand experience answering computer-based test questions written and developed by the testers' creators. The score report tells students if they are likely to pass or if it's too close to call and they should keep studying. Same-day scores. Evaluate your test takers, same-day ready, GED Ready practice test scores, and decide if they're prepared to test. You'll be able to identify areas of strength and weakness and immediately work on improvements. Focus study plans. The GED Ready practice test is synced to publisher books and courses and gives every student their own targeted study plan based on the skills he or she needs to work on, including specific guidance on what to study in publishers' test prep materials. GED Ready practice tests can be purchased on the GED Marketplace. And you can also visit our website at www.gedmarketplace.com and select GED Test Prep under the Product section. Paper GED Ready tests are now available as well as a webinar on this version. The following publishers have GED test prep books with good practice tests that can be used by the paper testing facilities. Student Test Activity Report. Under Reporting in GED Manager, you can select the Student Test Activity Report. There is a lot of information on this page. With this tool, you can pull up all students at once rather than searching individually. The sections that will be most useful for you are the test event number, the test medium, and the test missing. When the fields are filled in, it will populate all applicable tests and testers. When the test event has been returned successfully, you will be able to see all scores on this page. In the below example, this test event number was used to search, and we can see that the tester has a passing score. You may also access the Pastor's Report How-To Guide in GED Manager homepage under the Helpful Documents section. So what's next? You will be receiving soon a PDF of the scheduling questions, the bubble sheet reference card, the GED Policy and Procedures Manual, the general directions for administration of the exam, a link for certification quiz, and a surveillance log. The certification quiz. A 12-question quiz link will be sent to you to complete, and you are required to score a 90% or higher to gain access to GED Manager. And you will have 2 chances to pass. Once the quiz is received by GEDTS, GED Manager access for the 2014 paper testing will be granted. The next slides have frequently asked questions. You will receive a copy of this PowerPoint that you will be able to see the frequently asked questions along with the answers. If you have any questions, please feel free to email our team at operations@ged.com.